All right, we are live. Hello, hello. Hopefully, you've already seen from season 4, episode 5. Oh, the places we go. Wait, is that the name of it? Hold on. That might be a whole different season I'm talking about as far as the title. Oh, what a long, strange trip it's been, which is a play on words for Jade going on the mushroom trip. So, my bad. My bad. So, yeah, I think it was called on what a trip. Yeah, yeah, you're right. I messed up. So it's what a long, strange trip it's been. Yeah, or something like that. Yep, you're right. So welcome. See, Jessica's first in the house. Hopefully, you got the email that I just sent out about the email distribution group. People who wanted to exchange emails with people who are on the channel and vice versa. That has been completed. Anybody else can just put their email or phone number in the chat. I won't block it. I think it should be big boy, big girl rules. I think everybody kind of understands the the risk and what goes with it, with trolls and people who may have malicious intent. So I won't have to be a papa bear or a mama bear with it. So we'll do that going forward. So hopefully everybody had a chance to see season 4, episode 5. What a long, strange trip it's been. No excuses. I'm limited as far as having access to stuff. I'm traveling. However, always time for a chit chat. When I am free, always want to do a chit chat. So hopefully everybody kind of has their notes together and has enjoyed the episode. And I'm pretty sure there's some channels have already dropped a trailer for episode 6. I'm pretty sure that the same people who drop a video reviewing the episode the same minute the episode's out, those people who get special access to things using press credentials, they already have a episode 6 trailer out. I may look for that while live, and we'll take a look at that. I know Jeremy Ice and Fire, he usually does that, and a couple of other channels, they do that as well, where they kind of they already have the trailers, and they basically drop their video and the trailer for the next week the same minute the episode comes out, and they work ahead. So because they work ahead, we can always really rely on them to kind of get that to those of us who are not an insider, so to speak, using press credentials and just having access to stuff that an insider would have. So I'll try to look for that. Why did they let Roger's girlfriend live? That was his girlfriend for real? I think she is going back to town to start some crap about Tabitha knowing things. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because Tabitha did say towards the end of that segment of episodes dealing with Tabitha, Donna, and everyone else, that Tabitha says, I know how to kill them. And Tabitha says, I've been here before. I recognize everything as far as the dolls. So she probably will go back and start the rumor train that we're here because of Tabitha. Whereas Jade, people probably have overheard Jade say something like that he's been there before. Jade's been vocal about wanting to take the mushrooms to unlock stuff in his head. I mean, people are going to sooner or later put 2 and 2 together, like in the past, with past versions of Jade and Tabitha, that we're basically here because of them. So, so they had a bad feeling about her. Well, I mean, to me, all the townspeople who are background characters, who are victims like everyone else, they want to in my opinion, have someone to blame, because the thought is always going to be, why me? And they're miserable. Remember, they're in a place, no cell phone, no internet, no satellite, no cable. You can't leave when you want to. You can't just go down to a store. They've all lost their jobs. Let me just say that much. Everyone who has been pulled into the township, main cast, background characters, recurring characters, guest characters, they've all lost their jobs. When you go missing, your job may wait a day or two. They're hiring someone to replace you if you're not showing up. So they've all lost their jobs. They've all lost their jobs. So people who have lost their jobs, they're a single parent, you've lost your kid. Because if your kid was at school and then you would drive, you end up in Frontville, school system doesn't play. If you're like a minute late, they're calling the cops. Some places will may give you 10 minutes or 15, but if they call you, you don't answer, those teachers, the administrators, they don't play, they don't mess around. I don't care what state or what city you're in, they don't mess around. They're calling the cops. CPS is coming to get your kid because they're ready to go home for the night. And so, let's see. Did you get confirmation this coming week's episode isn't happening next week? So I've heard people say that. I guess we're going to skip a week. I heard people say that. If that's the case, I'm okay with it, simply because it'll allow me to catch up. It'll allow me to make theory videos, do more streams. That'll give me a chance to catch up. So, yeah, they don't want that, because I'm not going to be like other people and just, move on to something else or do you call in with your theory stream. We're going to catch up. We're going to knock a lot of stuff out if that's the case. So I heard it yesterday. Maybe it was from you, Jessica, if you were on the Chit chat earlier today, or from someone else, but I heard a rumor about that. But I think you asking about that kind of confirms nothing's gonna happen this Sunday coming up, which I'm okay with. I'm definitely okay with that, because it's a lot to unpack so far with season 4. So if that's the case, I'm okay with that. But I think you're asking me and not telling me. So you pretty much asking me, I don't know. And I'm asking you, maybe you don't know. I think both of us maybe hearing something maybe confirm that, yeah, there's not going to be an episode coming out this Sunday, which to me would be kind of like a drag, because MGM already made us wait to see season 4 starting in April. And now we got to wait on an episode. You don't just give us what we just saw with What a Long Strange Trip It's Been, where Jade knows how to leave. Tabitha knows how to kill whoever them are. I'm thinking she was talking about the dolls, but she may be talking about the monsters. And let's say if Tabitha says, I know how to kill the monsters, well, someone like Fatima would be like, well, hold on, before we start killing monsters, I don't want to get pregnant again. And other people in town might be like, well, if Fatima got pregnant because one of the monsters were killed, why kill the monsters? So what's going on, Incognito? How are you? Welcome. Mike, what up? What up? So yeah, people might hear, if Tabitha starts telling at least one person, and that one person starts a rumor, Tabitha knows how to kill the monsters, but when the monsters die, women in town get pregnant, immaculate conception, and you'll be giving birth to a monster. People are going to be like, well, I don't want to kill the monsters. But then what if Tabitha says, okay, to kill the monsters, you got to chop off their head? Somebody's going to be chopping off heads because they're going to be caught outside and they're going to chop a head off. Or maybe someone like Kenny with those machete blades. So Kenny with the machete blades may have the machete blades from somewhere, maybe out there in the tool shed, that have always been there and have been used in the past to kill a monster. So most of the men in town might be like, yeah, let's kill the monsters, let's get our lick back. But then the women are going to be like, well, if you kill a monster, I might get pregnant with one, and then now I'm giving birth to a pod. or I may not survive. So there's going to be a divide in town as to kill the monster versus not kill the monsters. And then if Jay says he knows how to go home, some people might be like, well, okay, to go home, I have to do a thing. Let's just say Jade says to go home, you have to basically knock down the wall in Colony House, and you have to go into the tunnels, and like the way to leave is in the tunnels. Like there's people who have said things like the Lake of Tears is underground. I don't know. I think the Lake of Tears was at the settlement, because when you think about it, okay, and just hear me out. And I don't know the answer. I'm just going off of just guessing or whatever. Okay, so Incognito says, I found the trailer and episode promo too spoilery. Basically, everything was shown. Okay, I mean, if you send me the trailer for season 4, episode 6, I'll look at it. I mean, I know Jeremy Ice and Fire probably already has it posted to his thing. So Marielle can hear the voices of the dead. Well, Julie was the same way. So if Marielle can hear the voices of the dead, like Julie was able to hear the voices of them screaming in the dungeon, which may have actually been the voices of the dead, or maybe Julie was just hearing them screaming in the dungeon. But Marielle being able to hear the voices of the dead, that could be something similar to Sarah, or something similar to Julie, or maybe both. So that kind of brings us to our first topic, Marielle's possibility. For all we know, Marielle can probably story walk. Maybe she can commune with the dead. So I don't have the episode 6 trailer. It's going to be out tomorrow. Well, how do you know it's spoilery then? If it hasn't been out yet? You said you found, okay. You said you found the trailer and episode promo too spoilery. Basically, everything was shown, but then you said you don't have the episode trailer. It's going to be out tomorrow. What? Which one is it? I already know Jeremy Ice and Fire already got it. He, maybe Teflon TV, the channels that are insiders, they already got it. They already got it. Trust me. If you're thinking, well, maybe they don't, no, they got it. They got it. They're basically insiders. That's how they're able to just post the trailer with the MGM Plus logo to their channel, and we're able to see it just because of that. So let me look. Yeah, see. Okay, so season 4, episode 5 trailer. Oh, okay, Jeremy don't even have it. So it might not exist. Yeah, wait a minute, hold up. Yeah, it may not exist. Because if the insiders don't have it posted, it might not be out till like this Sunday. Because basically they post the trailer for the next week, the same day the episode drops. So okay, they need to find a way to tune individual voices like radio. I think Sarah may be able to do that. Because Sarah was able to hear Abby, and that's when Abby revealed the whole Mr. Fish and Loaves. I researched it, and it says holiday weekend. They don't want to have low ratings or watch numbers with people being out of town. Okay, well they don't know the fandom. They don't know how hardcore the fandom is. I mean, I'm out of state on like a vacation basically, and I'm still doing From stuff because I enjoy doing it. So Okay, week skip. Yeah, so they don't know the fandom. And I definitely believe they don't know the fandom because they don't have to necessarily do me, but I think it would be in their best interest, in my opinion, to pay creators to talk about From, or really, if not From, then other stuff on MGM Plus's catalog. Because when I see commercials for other shows, it seems interesting, but then when I watch something like The Institute, for example, The Institute was a good show. It's based off of Stephen King's book about the Institute, and the Institute as a show was only able to really talk about the Institute and kind of give their version of how they were going to do the show, because in the book, instead of the woman, I forgot her name, instead of the woman surviving, it was the man who was played by the same guy who plays Henry. So Henry has survived in the book and continued on with the story for the Institute side, whereas the woman had died. Whereas in the show, the woman survived and Henry has died. So that's going to be the direction they take with that. And then they may end up doing seasons for the Institute, whereas in the book, after the Institute is destroyed, there's only a couple of things after that, and then the book is pretty much over with. But in the show, they may have the Michael Jordan of the psychics. They may have him survive. They probably will give us seasons of the Institute, which is going to differ from the books. So a content creator will do some research and give those extra tidbits, whereas your average viewer will not, unless they've already read the books. But then connecting the book and the show, and then kind of talking about the Stephen King universe as a whole, your average person is not going to do that, but a content creator would. So it'd be in MGM Plus's best interest to like pay content creators or put people on payrolls or have them as independent contractors or whatever to connect the dots and kind of expand on their products that they're putting out. Because with the Institute, so there's more than one organization like the Institute, such as there was the shop in Firestarter, and then there was the other group that went after Carrie. Remember Carrie from Carrie? How basically at prom she kills everybody after they put the pig's blood on her. Well, Carrie, there's more to that story after that whole prom incident, and the government tries to go after her. And, spoiler alert, Carrie's a beast. The most powerful person in Stephen King's universe who's a human, in my opinion, is Firestarter. But Firestarter's miniseries was back in the 90s, I think. So they probably will do an update with Firestarter because Carrie, I could see them doing an Avengers thing where the Michael Jordan of the psychics, he survives. Then the main character or the main boy from the Institute, he's the leader. Then you have, I think his name was Jake from the Dark Tower. He'd be good to add with that. And then you get Firestarter and Carrie together. And then you combine them with the Losers Club. They'd be unstoppable against the evil side. And the Losers Club already defeated it. But, the Deadlights survived, of course. So the Deadlights could make another Pennywise after Pennywise was dead. So a content creator would connect those dots and would help expand on the existing intellectual property of the Institute by giving what if scenarios. But MGM Plus, I don't think they really want to partner with content creators or employ any or pay them to go the extra mile, because I think they're basically relying on word of mouth and the limited marketing that they have. And the only reason why From is popular because of word of mouth. Like, people who know about From are pretty much the ones that put other people on From. I don't think anyone just stumbles upon MGM Plus and it's like, oh, I'm going to subscribe to MGM Plus and then starts watching stuff. Because when you have stuff like Amazon Prime, everyone knows about Amazon Prime, but Amazon Prime really doesn't push stuff equally, in my opinion. Like, people learn about From by word of mouth. Like, you'll hear people talk about it and like, oh, let me go check it out. The next thing you know, you're seeing the grandma creature take out Lauren and Megan, and it's like, oh yeah, I want more of this. But then again, MGM Plus was actually created to house a bunch of movies and television shows that were considered C and D level. And Amazon Prime bought MGM and MGM Plus. So that's the reason why you have content from MGM Plus on Amazon Prime, but not vice versa. Because Amazon Prime is actually making their own movies and television shows. MGM Plus is as well. But I mean, you get advertisement about Amazon, and everybody knows about Amazon and Amazon Prime, but MGM Plus, not so much. Like, when you think of MGM, most people think about the casino in Vegas, or they think about the Lion, but MGM is just not really a powerhouse like it used to be. Anyway, so I went into a whole diatribe about that, but so yeah, I think I have free streams all in one place. Pirate. Yeah, most people are actually pirating using Discord as well. So, you David probably would stumble upon stuff since you get stuff for free, but everybody else who doesn't have access to your software or a Discord, they're gonna go by advertisement, and then your average person now, not all, but your average person doesn't have cable and satellite. Most people get their information, like news and stuff, from social media or from like Yahoo or Google. And with Yahoo and Google, they only push stuff to you that you've already talked about, like on your phone, or that you've went and searched for it. Then they'll send you advertisements for it. But then like, on Facebook, you may stumble upon something that has happened to me, but most of the time it's just word of mouth. Amazon didn't do any big promo for From except for this season. I think it's part of the deal when they make the deal buying MGM. Yeah, I mean, MGM's pushing From now because From is like really popular. From has transcended From, where, like, so for example, Hannah, who plays Julie, she has started doing interviews with companies that don't really do reviews for movies and television shows. They only interview celebrities. And I've seen that on YouTube. So the Canadian actors have transcended From and have transcended Canada, and they're doing stuff in America where the show is supposed to be based off of. So that's pretty much it. Said, never have Amazon, never will. Uh-oh. The algorithms are the modern day Pied Piper. Yeah, they are. And I mean, the algorithm is basically just looking at what you've said on a device or where you've gone, and they just send you more of that. So if you've never heard of From and have never searched for From, you're more than likely not going to just stumble upon it, unless like you're on Facebook and like there's an individual user that has shared something that you have a connection to, then maybe you'll see it like that. But From has basically transcended everything. And I think the breakout point in time was just the fandom constantly talking about it, especially in the off season, in my opinion. Because with during season 3, it was like, whoa, we can't wait for this. But I think there was a buzz about the cowboy creature and doing that to Boyd, who's played by Harold P. And Harold and his name and his face have kind of like have pushed the marketing of From. But when you go to Boyd's social media, he's promoting the Sable liquor. So he's He's promoting Sable. So he pushes From every now and then, but he gives more attention to Sable, which is like his own thing. So I think what has really transcended was just the fandom constantly talking about it and then like putting other people on it. And the next thing you know, their Instagram post talking about season 4, I saw it had like maybe 10 million hits. So I'm just like, oh, okay. Sky TV over here ran a lot of ads for From season 4. Never seen that before. The buzz after season 3 seemed to draw a lot of new fans. Yeah. And it was the Man in Yellow. I mean, just the Man in Yellow coming out, ripping off Jim's throat. That was like a big deal. I was complaining about that the other day. I'm like, man, at the end of season 3, I saw the Man in Yellow. I'm like, oh my God, it's game on. And then, we got Sophia in Yellow, and I like her too. But that was like a big thing. I found From by going on to Chat GPT and giving a list of TV shows I watched and asked if there were any other shows similar to those. Yeah. So AI, which is Chat GPT, is pushing different things. Harold did a cameo for the fans recently in order to thank the From League. Yeah. I mean, because like there's a lot of like TV shows on Netflix that are really good, like Travelers. They get one season, they're done. Because if stuff doesn't go viral instantly, if stuff is not a hit by word of mouth instantly, if there's not like a big buzz or a collective amount of people that are like, man, I just watched this thing, you got to check it out. TV studios will cancel a TV show in a minute. And the same thing with movies. Right? Travelers was good. And Travelers should have kept going, especially after they gave the, I think it was the Omega Protocol. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who wants to see Travelers, but once they gave the Omega Protocol, I'm like, you know what? The problem is that the computer, the AI that's giving them information is talking to them from one timeline and communicating to them on a different timeline. And that's the reason why they were given the Omega Protocol. Because everything that they were changing was creating a new timeline, but the AI giving them information may have been from like either one alternate time, well, from like an original timeline or a different timeline, and it may have been different AIs created talking to the Travelers. Travelers, there was one season, you're talking about the series with 3 men and a conspiracy. No, Travelers is where people from the future were able to like beam into people before they were scheduled to die and like continue on with their life. So for example, let's say you had Tien Chen Lu, she dies season 3, episode 1, after the monsters get her in the barn. Well, a Traveler would be someone from the future, taking their consciousness from the future, beaming it into Tien Chen Lu before she dies, and doing some things based off their training to continue on as Tien Chen Lu. And the goal would be to prevent her from dying, and then going forward, doing things to prevent disasters that have been deemed a global disaster in the future. It was a really good show. Then they had the good Traveler, then they had the bad one. It was really basically Quantum Leap. If y'all remember the show Quantum Leap, it's basically Quantum Leap, but not the newer one that came out as far as Quantum Leap, the original Quantum Leap with Scott Bakula. So basically Travelers is like Quantum Leap, but more than one leaper. So we're not talking about the same show. A lot of good shows are getting canceled now. Yeah, they are. Yeah, we're going to talk about From. I just did a little detour. That's all. We're still on From. I just saw when people were talking about some comment was made about the not having an episode this Sunday coming up or something, and I was like, oh, I'm surprised content. No. I said I'm surprised that like I was talking about Jeremy having the trailer, and I was saying I'm surprised that MGM doesn't just partner with content creators. I mean, you know, there is a kind of a partnership when you use press credentials or whatever, but like an actual content creator or content creators that are just like hired to do podcasts maybe every week, and then they're hired to put stuff together for the show. I mean, people kind of do it for monetization purposes now, but everyone's basically an independent contractor of Google, whereas MGM should have like their own people. Kind of the same thing they did with The Walking Dead, how they had The Talking Dead. They should do that. They adapt their promo strategy to the TikTok by doing small clips and showing shocking stuff. Yeah, which is a good strategy. It's a good strategy. But even with doing it on TikTok, because I put clips on TikTok from those TikTok shorts, some of them are like rated M because of what's in the clip, and it doesn't really get a wide reach. But someone who has like millions of followers on TikTok talking about it would give a really big reach, because instead of like showing stuff from the episode, they could, you know, someone who's very popular talking about it will make people want to go check it out. I definitely enjoy binge watching, or rather than going episode by episode each week, week by week. Yeah, like on Netflix. Yeah, the time travel show. Right. I love the original Quantum Leap. Have you seen the new Quantum Leap? It's trash. It's trash. The AI director and Travelers, the great architect, the Demers, yeah. And I think that's what it was, that like every time the Travelers would travel back in time, they're creating a new timeline because the person who was gonna die lives, which automatically should create a new timeline because that person and the timeline that the person belongs to had died. So if you live and you go beyond when you're supposed to die, it should be a new timeline because you no longer exist. And you know, they never really explored that. That, well, maybe it's new timelines being created. Because remember, one of the people from the future came back and was like, you guys came from the future, nothing has changed. And it's because that person came from a timeline that the other people came from originally, and new timelines are being created. Yeah, Travelers was fun. What do you think about season 4 from so far? So far, I like being presented with stuff and being presented with information that answers that. Like, so for example, I like that they instantly gave us that Sophia is the man in yellow by the end of episode 1. I do like that. I like that it feels like there aren't any scenes that are just filler scenes or filler episodes. I like how every conversation and interaction between characters, good or bad, it definitely feels like things are being progressed towards something, versus having scenes like Fatima and Ellis having this wedding at the end of season 2, episode 10, and the wedding is eating up runtime, and that wedding was just to get Boyd to think about taking the torch to the ruins and lighting it. Whereas they could have just gotten rid of the wedding scene, because I mean, the wedding was at Colony House, but in Fatima and Ellis's room, and everybody in Colony House was not invited. Like, they were invited to Fatima's 1-year anniversary. So obviously this wedding was like, it was a thing, but not really a big thing. It was just so they could be married, but they didn't really have to be married. They could have just skipped that whole wedding thing, and that just felt like a filler scene that was not necessary. So it feels like for season 4, they've done away with stuff like that, and they are giving us enough to make us feel like we are on a journey with them and not having scenes just to be having them. And also like with Kenny and Christy, I played one of those scenes here on this channel where they were doing the whole touching hands things, being intimate with each other, and I just feel like that whole peekaboo with their possible relationship was shattered when Marielle showed the town. And I'm like, what's the point of having them together and doing that? Because nothing really came of that. So I feel like stuff like that you could say, well, it's important because of this or that, or not important because of this or that. They've gotten rid of that stuff. And it's just like, we're getting what we signed up for. So I like that. As far as what I don't like, I am a little bit disappointed that Sophia is not an actual character on the show, and the man in yellow has shapeshifted into Sophia, and like we're not getting the man in yellow, we're getting Sophia in yellow. I think that should have been I was hoping that the man in yellow was going to shapeshift into different people to keep us guessing and keep the characters guessing, but it's like Sophia in yellow is cool, but I'd rather have the man in yellow Doug. So that's just like one thing that has kind of surprised me. I'm gonna say I'm surprised. Not that I don't like it. I'm surprised. Another thing is with Fatima in this golem, they could have just given us maybe one scene of her building the golem and then return back to her when the golem is done, so we get that, versus all these conversations showing the progression of the golem, where I'm like, I don't really care about the progression of the golem. I want to see Smiley interacting with Fatima. I want to see what Fatima saw while she was pregnant with Smiley. I want to see what happens with the golem when it's completed. They could give more runtime to Jade in his trip, to Tabitha, Donna, and this excursion to the Lake of Tears, or maybe even giving us something more with Sarah and these and what's going to happen with her versus all this other stuff that is kind of like, I don't see them as being filler scenes, but I'm not really too keen on Sophia the trickster all the time, because I'm like, okay, she's tricking people. Let's just get to what's going to be the big woe, such as like Sophia being with Julie at the ruins. If we're going to do that, then just give us that. Like put Sophia on ice until we get that. Or if it's going to be Sophia having Marielle manifest her powers, okay, give us that. If it's going to be Sophia forcing Randall to manifest his ability, okay, give us that. You know, because like I liked seeing Sophia mess with Sarah and activate Sarah's voices, but that was like season 4, episode 4. We just got episode 5. Sarah's not in the episode completely. So was it really necessary for the voices to be activated in Sarah for that not to really go anywhere? The golem is also shadow work in Gungian philosophy, and Frey represents the projection Tabitha unloaded onto Jade. Yeah, I mean, that is interesting. So okay. I know some people have said they wanted me to do more research on like stuff like that. And so like to me, okay, if someone in the show says the golem is from ... like Fatima did with her dad in the past, to me, that's all I need to know. But like taking it a step further is not really my thing, because the golem is in different bodies of work, and to pinpoint one body of work is difficult to do. So I would just focus on what Fatima actually said about the golem, and that's pretty much as far as I go, because it's real easy to go down a rabbit hole. And what if that's not where the show goes or where the creators intended it for to go? And then projecting Tabitha unloading onto Jade. Yeah, Tabitha's a mess. It should have been you. It should have been you. And then, like, in the next episode, Tabitha is willing to sacrifice herself and leave her kids with Donna. And you just, I guess, unloading on Jade was her way of, I guess, using Jade as a emotional punching bag. And now that she basically, instead of blaming herself for everything that she's done, she's now blaming Jade. Now she can go back to being normal, but it's like now she's normal by herself and not with Jade. So maybe Jade and Tabitha will connect episode 6, and they'll compare notes, talk with others, and actually start making meaningful movement towards whatever the end of season 4 is going to be. Just wish I knew if this is group therapy. You mean the chit chat stream, or I don't know. Look at the cinematography as we take Sophia's point of view. Sophia watching them is like the Marielle shadow observing them, like it observes from the unconsciousness. That is true. It is true. It's a psychological thriller. First, horror and action are just ornaments. Yeah. It's all about remembering versus forgetting. Golem is in several mythologies. It began with Jewish folklore, but the biggest connection is with psychology. It is a shadow projection of the creator, like the mounds and close encounters of third kinds. No from. What? Oh, so from is group therapy. I've heard people say that. That is group therapy for them. Okay. So yeah, the golem is in several mythologies, and it's just like, how do you pinpoint one? And then you say it began with Jewish folklore. Well, it may go back before that, but just called something different. So it, right now we could call it golem, but in the past it may have been called something else. So for me, I'm gonna call it golem. And Fatima, I don't think her character is Jewish. I think her character is from India. So because her father is, I think Fatima's from India, the character. So her father's from India, she's from India. So if I was going to go down the rabbit hole of folklore, I would focus on Indian folklore because that's where they're from. And I doubt that they're Jewish as far as a race or ethnicity. I mean, they're Indian. And, that would go down a rabbit hole. But then what if the show doesn't go in that direction as far as that rabbit hole? So then it's like, okay, discussing something that's Indian folklore, going down the rabbit hole, which is always fun, but should we go down the rabbit hole? Because we can, but should we? Because, I mean, there's some people who've gone down a rabbit hole and have equated the adventures of the Gulagog to the Gallywog because it sounds the same. And now they're going down the rabbit hole of Jim Crow, racism, of the Gallywog. And it's like, well, is that necessary to do outside of entertainment? Now, some people are like, yeah, I want to discuss that rabbit hole. But for me, it's like, what's the point? Because it's a children's book and for kids, and it was given to Ethan. I'm pretty sure Jim and or Tabitha opened the book and looked in it and was like, yeah, this is appropriate for a child the adventures of the Gulagog, but then other people are taking it to where it's more mature subject matter because the Gulagog looks like the Galawag, and they're going down a rabbit hole, which I say more power to you. But as far as here, I'm more about keeping it as close to from as possible if going to a rabbit hole, because it's easier for me to connect elements of a rabbit hole to multiple things in from and multiple scenes, multiple episodes, versus we're going down this path that doesn't really address any Easter eggs or mysteries. It's just kind of is like food for thought. And I think it's always good to do. It's just, for me, it's got to be like a reason to go down a rabbit hole versus just kind of going down there because of what's happened in the past, and how the spirit is mastering the ego in or to move and accept some choices in life. We're seeing their struggle. For instance, Boyd hesitating to torture Elgin. It's about choices and globally. Well, Boyd did not hesitate to torture Elgin. He did do it. He was just stopped. So Boyd took the hammer to Elgin's hand. So Boyd was torturing. Even when Father Khatri said, don't do it, if you do this, there's no coming back, Boyd did it. He was physically stopped by other residents in the township, and then Sarah continued on so Boyd wouldn't lose his soul. Well, Boyd doubled down after it was, season 4, and was like telling Elgin, don't tell people what happened. And Elgin says the truth always comes out, and then Boyd says, I'll make sure it doesn't. So Boyd did not hesitate to torture Elgin, and he has rationalized and justified it and accepted that that was the way to go. So to me, I would look at it from a psychological point of view of Boyd chose torture, and maybe it's because of his background in military training. Even though he was a logistician, he may have made choices in the past that would make him make this choice now. Because, with Fatima, that's his daughter-in-law, but how long have you really known Fatima? Is Fatima worth it to hurt someone else as opposed to letting him go and following him like they normally would do in law enforcement? So I would kind of go down that route from a psychological aspect when talking about struggle and everything like that. Julie said the books are an instruction manual to save Jim, and the Hanging Man card suggests a luminous rebirth. Well, the Hanging Man card is about seeing the world from a different perspective. That's why he's upside down, and his head is in between heaven and earth. And the positioning of his feet determines if he's seeking knowledge consciously or unconsciously, and the Hanging Man wants to be hung. So as far as rebirth, in my opinion, I don't really see a rebirth with it, because the Hangman card doesn't really signify anyone's going to die, but they're going to get enlightenment from seeing the world from a different perspective. Now, you could say, well, if you see the world from a different perspective, maybe your personality changes, and that'd be kind of like a quote unquote rebirth. But in my opinion, there really is no rebirth. It's more of just being enlightened or awakened to information that you didn't have to begin with. And then as far as Julie said, the books were instruction manuals. She did say that. She did say that. And what she tried kind of failed. They may have to look at the third book that Jim had in his hand in Colony House to get more instruction, or talk to Ethan, because Ethan gave her information that we know has to be a thing, because the man in yellow, talking to future Julie, said, didn't anybody tell you that you can't change a story? So hopefully Julie and Randall part ways, and Julie goes to Ethan after taking a loss with story walking, and Ethan takes a loss from the Lake of Tears, and they reconnect. Or fingers crossed, Sophia gets involved with Julie's story walking, and it's time to play. So if Ethan were to talk to me and be like, hey, I think the Lake of Tears is in the township, my first thought would be like, okay, you understand the Lake of Tears sounds like the Trail of Tears. So the Trail of Tears was a bad thing in American history because it's when Native Americans who made a deal with the colonists were double crossed, and they were ran out of their land, and they went to like Oklahoma and had to live on reservations. But the Trail of Tears was them walking and basically crying. So the Lake of Tears, in my opinion, would be the same thing, in that people are in this lake and they're crying because something bad has happened. So I'd be like, Ethan, the Lake of Tears is probably a bad place. And it turned out to be a bad place. Because remember, Ethan was saying that when talking to Jade, that maybe he didn't make up the Lake of Tears, maybe it was real. And then we heard the singing, which may have been from the fairies. And then here comes the dolls busting into the log cabin, ripping off jaws and stuff, and putting hands down throats. So those fairies may be bad. And Jim, who was like the ghost Jim, the vision Jim, I think he was setting Ethan up for a trap, and that's what the trap was. I believe future Julie took past Jim to present Ethan to tell him to find the lake so Julie can leave a bookmark at the Lake of Tears. Then she can bring Jim to the lake to be resurrected. I don't know. I think the Lake of Tears is a bad place. I think it's a bad place. I mean, because future Julie was not able to take Ethan with her when she first story walked. And this was like season 3. So for her to physically bring a person to story walk, I think would mean that she would be there too, because he would have to come back by her. So if future Julie did get Jim from the past to talk to Ethan, in my opinion, Julie would have been there as well. Or we would have seen past Jim leave just like that. But then again, past Jim wouldn't have been acting like how that Jim was at the RV, looking around all paranoid. He would have been like how Jim was season 1, season 2, and season 3 before dying. And that Jim was more like protective. He wouldn't have ran off and left at hearing Tabitha's voice. He hesitated. He was first trying to scare the crap out of Elgin and even hitting his hand. Look at his face. He's forcing himself to do it, but he did it. He did it. Like harming someone, it takes a lot to want to hurt someone unless you rationalize and justify it, which Boyd did. I think Julie is using Boyd's ring to test her abilities, and she can switch people around in chapters, but not permanently. So she must need the lake to make permanent changes and save Jim. Well, if that's the case, Julie should, instead of like leaving rings, because think about it. Okay, Boyd's ring was in the sheriff's station. So Jade was in the sheriff's. No, Jade was with Boyd. So if Julie was going to grab something to test out her abilities, I think it would be something in the home that she was in, the Matthews' new home, and not the sheriff's station, in my opinion. I think the Lake of Tears was just a trap. So there is I was listening to, and she is saying Jade's friend got out of the car crash, didn't check on Jade, never mentioned Jade to anyone. Sarah kills him because he didn't know Jade. You talking about Toby? Because Jade was saying Toby was his childhood friend. Jade said in the end they will all go home together, so I assume Julie will save everybody by bringing their past selves to the lake. Or it could be that Jade knows there's an actual exit, but there's probably some type of catch to it because somebody put the wall up in Colony House if that's where they're going is through that door. If somebody put bricks up to stop people from going there, it could have been the monsters or the evil side, or it could have been other townspeople. So my thinking is this, that it's more that it could have been the townspeople to put the brick wall up, because whatever the cost is to go home may be too great, and the cost may be having to sacrifice others to go home. And then if you go home, you could be brought back, like Tabitha was with Maine. Agree, because Judaism of today is actually Hinduism connected through ancient Hindu teachings called Brohanism. Just like Protest didn't know Sophia. Protest? Is Protest a person? Oh, the priest. Right, the priest didn't know Sophia. So what do you think of that? I mean, yeah, the priest didn't know who Sophia was. I mean, the priest never had been to the township. And then, as far as Jade and Tabitha having their eyes opened up, I mean, they probably will not recognize Sophia in that form, but probably remember the man in yellow suit. The Hierophant to Hanging Man to Sun is the three-part journey of Jim and Tarot, from rigid beliefs to the new perspective to Sun rebirth. So the only thing I know about is the Hanging Man tarot card as far as that. And only reason why I say tarot card is because Tilly had tarot cards, and then Jim was in the Hanged Man tarot card kind of like position for season 4 in the barn. But the Hierophant version of the Hangman could be about Sun rebirth, but then it's like, well, okay, is it the Hierophant or is it the tarot card? Because most people in the fandom have kind of said, well, it's a tarot card. I went with the idea of tarot card just because I think that Jim hanging upside down in a hangman type of position that wasn't completely the hangman position was because it was fan service. Put in A and Brahma, Abrahma or Abraham. Okay. So what if the only way out and to save the children is to have 7 sacrifices to take place of the children? See, that could be the answer. That could be the answer. Like, you save the children by sacrificing others. Only reason why I would give pushback to that is that I'm pretty sure that the original townspeople created the children. So I think if they could wait for adults, they could have just waited for adults who were not related to them. So I think the sacrifice had to be something most precious to them, which would have been the, children that they created, in my opinion. So replacing the children, I mean, instead of replacing them, you might as well keep them from being sacrificed, which would stop all the events in the township to begin with. So I think the sacrifice is just not supposed to happen, in my opinion. The creators want us to put in the character's shoes because of what this place orientating them towards Cornelian choices. So as far as that, because there's a lot of references to Catholicism, and I know Catholicism could come from something before Catholicism, because the Catholic Bible, where Catholicism kind of derives from, could say it came from Hebrew, like the Hebrew Bible, from Judaism or Islam, and even way before that. But because there's Catholicism in the show, I pretty much start the path to Catholicism and kind of end it there. Because if you keep going, then it's like you may be going too far. So it's kind of like you're driving from, let's say, Los Angeles, and you're going to Chicago because the show is talking about Chicago, but then you keep going and now you're going to North Carolina, and it's like, well, but the show is only taking you to Chicago, traveling eastbound. So you can keep going, but should you keep going? Because the show seems to be deep, but not that deep. Because the characters don't really have access to much except for what they bring with them and what they say. So it could be possible to go too much. So in channel membership, I even said when reviewing a video, I'm like, this one creator was talking about Baphomet and free and accepted masonry, and I'm like, I don't think the show is going that deep. You can go that deep. It's your channel, it's your video, but I don't think the show is going that deep, because how do we get from anything in the show to Baphomet? Now, after seeing season 4, episode 2, you could say, well, the ram's head, that gets us to Baphomet, but the horns are different. And Baphomet wouldn't be in some bag. And then Sophia later said the story of Abraham and the binding of Isaac, and maybe that is where the direction was going with the ram's head, not Baphomet. So it's like, yeah, it's a cool thing to throw out there, like a fun fact, but I don't think anyone's going to Baphomet. And then you got different versions of Baphomet. You got the Church of Satan, you got free and accepted masonry, then you got the Hollywood stuff. So, now if someone was saying, well, the Nkui kids had panda eyes after they were sacrificed, and the main time we see panda eyes in today's time is with Hollywood and satanic ritual abuse, then I could see going to, well, here's one direction I think they're going with Baphomet, because people do give teddy bears panda eyes as a part of a ritual. I could see that as far as connecting the dots. But just to kind of jump off the porch, Baphomet, it's like, okay, you probably just want to talk about Baphomet, just do that. Okay. The only way to escape is to remember, make amends, and stick together. Beat the man in yellow strategy that is tearing them apart. Could be. The singing seemed to be Tabitha singing, humming while playing with the dolls. Could be. Could be. Or it could be fairies. Because if that is the Lake of Tears that Ethan was saying that he didn't think he made up, the singing could have been the fairies. Because if it was Tabitha as a kid, and that was her doing the singing, was Tabitha as a child, now I'm going to be like, well, Tabitha, I think you and Jade may have been evil in the past. Like, it's more to it than just simply trying to save the children. You all may have been actually the ones to create the township to begin with, and you just forgot about that. If you're the one out there singing. Lake of Tears has surely a double meaning, literal underground in the tunnels. Tabitha and Victor saw water, and figuratively, it represents the sadness of the children caused by the betrayal they suffer. Well, so the water underground may have come from above ground and was like leaking down. Because if it's a puddle, puddles are created from water either being poured into an area or coming from a higher elevation. So if there's a lake underground, I think it would be in a different area than when Victor and Tabitha were navigating the tunnels trying to get out, in my opinion. So just the idea of Lake of Tears, I could see that it could be the sadness of the children caused by the betrayal that they suffered. That it could be Lake of Tears. But in Ethan's stories, the Lake of Tears was a good place because the fairies were able to revive people, and he was wanting Norman to be revived in the Lake of Tears. So now the next thing is, like, why is it called the Lake of Tears? Is it similar to the Trail of Tears? And if there's fairies inside that can revive people in this lake, the reviving may have been the reviving of the dolls. Because thinking about reviving something, you would think it's a good thing to revive, but what if you're reviving something that's also evil? Oh, Lord. So is this a spoiler or a theory? Henry is joining the dark side of the Force. I guess Sophia and Yellow will corrupt him by saying it's Jade and Tabitha's fault. So there was the scene that we saw, not the scene, but maybe a screenshot that we saw of Sophia in the bar with Henry. And Sophia was looking seductive. So you might be right about that. Sophia might be corrupting Henry using the alcohol and then blaming Jade and blaming Tabitha. Saying that if it wasn't for Jade and Tabitha, the man in yellow wouldn't have ate your wife or wouldn't have brought your wife and your kids to the township. Kid Jade warned him that the town people turn on them in past cycle. Yeah, I can see why. There are rules in front bill, so Jim disappearing could be something the rules made him do. I don't know, Jessica. He was looking like a crackhead now. He was looking over his shoulder, looking suspicious. I could see, okay, him disappearing could have been the rules, but he was looking suspicious. He was looking paranoid. I don't know. Them rules are the rules, but he was looking mighty suspicious. Because when Tabitha said Ethan, he wasn't looking in that direction. He just bounced. So maybe he couldn't be seen by anybody but Tabitha. My guess so far after watching season 4, episode 5 is that Jim was setting Ethan up for failure and didn't want an adult to come around and see him and start questioning him. Because, I mean, when you think about it, the Lake of Tears, to me, sounds like the Trail of Tears. And tears are usually associated with crying. You can laugh and cry, but crying is normally associated with sadness. So when I hear Lake of Tears, I'm thinking Trail of Tears, oh, it's a bad place. And if the Lake of Tears was at the settlement, it was a bad place. The tarot cards have a fool's journey that is the same as Campbell's hero's journey. It just uses symbolism instead. The fool's journey is 21 cards laid out with 7 columns of 3 and 1 fool. Could be. The 7 levels of consciousness that need reincarnation for profound growth. Jim is the 5th column, 7 levels of heaven. Sophia and Yellow's strategy is to use religion to lose them. She called Marielle a prophet to be the leader of the rebellious group scheming. In the shadows, the wolf disguised as sheep. I think she's trying to get Marielle to accept being a prophet so that Sophia and Yellow can like feed Sophia, so that Sophia and Yellow can feed Marielle information to deceive them, a part of her deception. But Marielle was like, nah, I don't believe that mess. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe Marielle will go for the okie doke, maybe not. As free and accepted Mason myself, I can tell you there are many connections. Literally every month we play out parts of the same journey, from knocking on the door, the process of individuation. Well, okay. But see, okay. With knocking on the door, let's say that's the monsters. I mean, every time you go to someone's house, you knock on the door. So in a way, the same things that you may do as far as a part of a ritual may be common stuff that we do that might be the reason why the monsters do it. Plenty of fan theories are much more interesting than the show answers. Not just from, but plenty of mystery shows like Stranger Things. Yeah. And I think some of the fan theories are better than what's written in the show, but people don't say that diminishes the show. I think that's kind of what makes it enjoyable, is because you can do what if and go down rabbit holes and say this and that. And it makes for great storytelling and like fan fiction. because it's almost like From is not just a show, but it's our show. And we can take it into a different direction with theories or fiction, and it kind of expands on the existing intellectual property. I think that's what makes it great, is being able to have fun and feel like we are a part of the show. Kind of like when people do the whole, they're eating, it's like a medieval battle, and they're also eating dinner at the same time. They do this thing in Vegas where they have like this mystery. They have mystery dinners where you're like solving a mystery while eating, and people are yelling out stuff as to what something could be. To me, From is kind of like that, because I mean the creators are listening to the fans and using our fan theories in the show to fill in the blanks when they have them, or to give us fan service like Jim and being the hanged man. So to me, it's kind of like mystery dinner, where you're sitting there eating a steak, and they're like, there's a character in front of you doing something, and it's like, what do you think? What do y'all think this is? People are yelling out answers, and then the character is like, you know what? I think you're right, and then boom. Well, I got to disagree with you there, because there are some Freemasons that use Baphomet as who they're worshiping. Baphomet is simply an amalgamation of the 7 Hermetic principles. Baphomet is there as far as what's on the internet. So there's different lodges. There's different lodges that do different things outside of the book. Because with Freemasonry, it goes up to 3rd degree Master Mason, and that's the max. Then you have the other degrees that are like to the left and right of the 3rd degree. So like the 4th degree all the way up to 32nd degree is like lateral to the 3rd. And then once you get to 32nd, then you get invited up to 33 and 1/3. And then, that's the official information from books and rituals that are done during an official meeting or official ritual done at a lodge, whether it's the Grand Lodge, or you got the higher level lodge. There's like 2 levels above that for like a Grand Lodge. No, there's a lodge, then above that's a Grand Lodge, then you have a lodge above that. So there are Freemasons who have come forward and said that while going through the ritual process, whether it's Entered Apprentice, I forgot the number. I forgot the 2nd level, and the 3rd level is basically Master Mason. That they were asked to denounce the Bible or whatever religion they were originally said that they belonged to. They were told to denounce the Bible, do negative things to it, and there was a Baphomet statue in their lodge. So every lodge is different, just like every Planet Fitness is different. So you got a bunch of Planet Fitnesses. Some are in the same franchise, some are not. And then you have a bunch of lodges that are connected to a Grand Lodge, but then you will have lodges like a state over that are a part of a different Grand Lodge. So there is Baphomet and Satanism in the lodges. It just may not be a lodge that you've traveled to as a traveling man. So as a traveling man, while you're traveling, you may have not hit every lodge. And then there's the lodges in the United States of America, which are different than the lodges in Canada and in like in England. Because I mean, you got two different types of free and accepted masonry. You got the ancient free and accepted masonry, the 4-letter, and you got the free and accepted masonry 3-letter. And then the 3-letter basically was created because Africans and or blacks could not join the 4-letter ancient free and accepted masonry. So there's a lot going on, and in my opinion, I would have to agree to disagree with you because there's so many different lodges and people who have shown that they are a card carrying master mason or higher, or not really higher, but like they've made lateral moves to other lodges. They are card carrying masons and the card is active, and they've presented the grip of a master mason, and they've also presented the password of a master mason, and they've come forward and said, at the risk of myself, here are the secrets, and Baphomet and Satanism was a part of it. There's a reason why it's clandestine. There's a public version of it, like the Shriners, and then there's the clandestine. And just because you're a master mason doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be privy to things that are immoral, illegal, or unethical by a different lodge. So we'll have to agree and disagree on that. Some folks and creators are coming with too complicated theories. Yeah, I'm all for a rabbit hole, but as far as my channels and what I would want from my chat and comment section is start off with a scene or episode, and then before jumping off the porch, connect where you want to go with another scene or episode where someone has actually said something, shown something, or done something. So like something that people have jumped off the porch about is something like the idea that Fatima's Martin's too easy. So we'll think of something different. So besides Fatima being Martin, it could be something like Ethan is the man in yellow because Ethan was wearing yellow. And I'm like, okay, think about it like this. You understand that Ethan basically would be killing his dad. So how do you get Ethan from being a little boy who misses his dad, loves his dad, and is doing what he's doing in season 4 to help his dad, to now he wants to story walk and kill his dad? And it's just a lot. It's a lot with that. Well, okay, so Satanists worship Lucifer, but there are Satanists who become Freemasons. So it you know what I'm saying, like, because to be a Freemason, basically you have to be invited. And there are Freemasons who worship Lucifer and they're Satanists. And with the modern Mason, they bring people in who have money because lodges run on donations. Lodges run on donations. They're basically 501c3s. Most of them are 501c3s, and they run on donations officially. So they kind of want to bring in Masons who can pay the dues and afford it, who will donate to the organization just like a church. And they want to bring in Masons who have authority, positions of power, and access to things that can help the causes of people in a lodge. So someone who is currently a mayor, the Masons would want to bring a mayor in to use or possibly use that office as something to support their agenda and give them power. Same thing with Masons or lodges bringing in people who are politicians besides mayors, people who are rich, because a lodge is not going to be able to do that much or be influential if everybody's broken, poor, and uneducated. So they're going to bring in people who already have influence so that the lodge can be influential, just like with Scientology, just like with WWE. They want people who already got what they want so they can gain access to that power. Just like, just kind of Et Shulaya of the Dolls echoing Tabitha, an echo of Tabitha singing used by the place of fears or whatever, getting absorbed into the place, like Nathan said. Well, did Nathan say that? Or did the boy in white say Nathan had said that? So I think the boy in white said that Nathan had said that. Because of the scenes that we see with Nathan talking to Sarah and talking to other people, Nathan wasn't really mentioning much, but the boy in white said Nathan was saying XYZ. So Nathan was doing a bunch of talking off screen. And I give that the side eye. Sounded like the guy said the dolls would give her nightmares, and they kind of did, or it became nightmares once he threw them in the lake. Right. That is true. Lucifer, the light, knowledge carrier, another scheme from the devil. Well, okay. So Lucifer he has been known as Morning Star, Lucifer Morning Star. I mean, before he became a fallen angel, he was known as Lucifer Morning Star. And I mean, the devil is considered the same thing as Lucifer. Lake of Tears, Tears of Grief, the infamous River of Grief in multiple mythologies. I mean, to me, the Lake of Tears sounds bad. I don't even have to know a background of the different mythologies as far as what they're saying about Lake of Tears, Tears of Grief, River of Grief. It just sounds like a bad place. So I agree with you on that, David. It just sounds like a bad place. Okay, no spoilers. Okay. Lucifer is just the planet Venus. The signal of Lucifer is the visual field, the light entering the eyes and assimilation of the mind, extra mission. So yeah, all of the gods are named from the planets, and people used to worship the planets. So yeah, I agree. Yeah, I am wondering how the town turned on Jade and seemingly no proof. Did everyone just take the Marielle at his word, or did the mental manipulation work that well? In my opinion, I think the past versions of Jade were doing the same thing Jade's doing now and saying publicly or to different people, just saying that he and Tabitha have lived here before. And once you start listening to Jade, I mean, even before season 4, I was even making videos saying I think the original Jade and Tabitha were eating people. And I think they were going along with sacrificing teddy bears until they changed their mind because Jade said they used to sing lullabies to them. So, and I'm also thinking that Jade and Tabitha were in on it because of that colonist who had the skull with the blood in it. Like the original Jade and original Tabitha were in on it. They were a part of the original townspeople who were wanting to do the sacrifice stuff. And that's how they were saying that they tried to save the children but failed. They tried to stop them but failed. And that's how their daughter got caught up in it. That's what I'm thinking. That the original Jade and original Tabitha were with them and they were in on it till they weren't. And then maybe the other townspeople put Jade into one of those stone coffins to get rid of him. And then you had the little boy in there and Kui, meaning to remember. Like, remember, this is what happened to you when you tried to save us and you failed. Because I mean, in that hallucination, none of the townspeople turned into monsters, and I think that's because that was before when they were like regular people, and even though they're wearing the clothes of mid-century clothing, that is what happened originally with the original Jade and the original Tabitha. So maybe that's the conclusion that Jade will come to, is like the other four versions of me, we all remembered where we came from. That's why it's only four quartet or four people playing the violin, because they got to the point where they remember where they came from. But then in remembering, they started saying how to escape, and people didn't like it. Because even though Jay says, I know how to leave, and Tabitha says, I know how to kill them, people might not like what it would take. Yeah, I agree. Seems like the two parents in cooeyed and told folks to remember past life. Yeah. And then people were like, so it's your fault we're all here. You keep coming back and we'll keep getting brought to. Yeah. Just like in the diner when Tabitha said that she went to Maine and people were like, oh, you left and didn't get help? Not understanding that you can't get help. I mean, what are you going to tell people? And even if you tell people, who's going to believe you? Where's your proof? So you can't run and get help, but people who are desperate, scared, then you got people who have different education levels, different personalities. People may just jump to conclusions because they just want to blame somebody. Right. We gotta wait 2 weeks for episode 6. Yeah, we'll keep theory crafting and making videos. That'll give me a chance to catch up before Egypt. So when you say Egypt, are you talking about Egypt in the Bible or Egypt the country? As far as Moses or Moses by another name and another belief system leading people like the Israelites out of Egypt. But yeah, leading people out of a place of bondage, like the Israelites were led out of bondage, kinda is what we're hearing as far as and from, leading people out of bondage, out of captivity. And the Bible is repeating that same journey that probably was told in like past belief systems. Because I mean, the Bible, people have kind of said that the Bible has different origins, which is the collection of books. And people have also said that the modern Bible, no matter what version you have, comes from another book. And that book comes from another book. And then like, they're basically what we have as far as religious books and texts is just copies of copies. Tempers flared, friendships frayed, and eventually everyone turned on everyone else, probably with prompting from the Marielle. Yeah. Sharpening her weapons, already working Sarah and Marielle. Kenny was let off the hook for an episode or two. For now. This is his favorite part, when everyone turns on everyone else. They all turn on each other and on the two parents, killing them before they can succeed. Yeah, I can see that. So I'm not going to highlight what you put after that comment, David, because that's going into the actual ritual of the journey. And I don't want to put that on the screen. But I agree with what you're saying and that. I just don't want to put it on the screen because you're basically giving Secrets, and I think you said that you are a member of that organization. True Spade is the journey, not the destination. Yeah. Yeah, she might be she might be in the stone coffin. I think she said that there was a Comic Con that she was going to. And then even though I send out an email to everyone, people are busy, especially Sunday, because it's normally religious services. Normally, I don't even really do anything on Sunday just because I know that people have religious services and then it's the weekend and people are busy. So so Sunday usually is kind of a hands-off day, but I'm traveling, so yeah, we all did. We all did. I imagine that because Sophia in yellow is the man in yellow. If you kill Sophia, man in yellow goes too. Baphomet does. With the man top and the female bottom, people have equated Baphomet to be trans. Hollywood worships him or it. Yeah, it depends on what you practice and what era. Because, there's also a Baphomet statue in the Church of Satan. And also, there's a Baphomet statue in a lot of places that practice occult in general, including witchcraft. So it just depends. Well, there's different blue lodges. So Scottish Rite, that's like lateral to third degree Master Mason. So there's different blue lodges, and there are blue lodges where people are Satanists. So there may not be Satanism during the ritual or during a meeting, but there are members who are Satanists. So because you have Satanists who are also Freemasons, they're going to get together and do Satanism stuff. But it's not Freemasonry. It's Freemasons practicing Satanism. Not all. Not all. Uh-oh, it's aliens. Are we still saying that it could be aliens at this point? Are we still saying Satan? I mean, we still saying aliens? I don't know. I think at this point, 7762, it's got to be Meta is Martin. I think that is kind of crazy at this point to say it's aliens because we got half a season left and a season 5 to wrap up. I think if there was little green man, they would have jumped out. They would have jumped out by now. So I think we're doing Amita is Martin, and we're like, we've gone off the edge. Nothing wrong with believing about it being aliens. I just think at this point, where are the aliens if there are aliens? Where are the aliens at if there's aliens? Let me know, because if not, I think you've gone Meta is Martin, and you may be over the deep end with that. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, Lake of Tears sounds very sad. Lake of Tears, Trail of Tears. They didn't have crap at the settlement, and that dude throws away the kids' toys. I kind of hope he ended up in the lake himself. He probably did. Probably had his mouth ripped off. Will everything they throw in the lake become big, like scarecrows? I don't know. I mean, I think after the ordeal with the dolls, they probably will leave the lake alone. And who was surprised that Ellis and Donna survived that? I was surprised. I knew we were going to have some type of issue. But the same way that Randall had his face torn, and you know what? Okay, think about it like this. So that woman, that extra background character, her face was put into the fire and was burned. So we're going to see her walking around town. It may be that Randall was experiencing the same fate by the monsters, that he was getting cut up and then someone intervened and stopped it. And that may be why he was put on the ambulance, because the ambulance is about saving people. That may have been why he was put there, because someone was trying to spare him. Maybe it could be Eloise that did that. But since Randall was scarred and put on the ambulance, there have been no more cicadas bothering Randall. So that's interesting. What's going on, Michelle? Hey, hey, hey. We in this thing. It's all about inversion with the FM, the so-called light carrier. Reincarnation doesn't exist. Well, in the show, it does. I think it's kind of official. Jade and Tabitha are reincarnated. I meant past lives like Christopher. Did he just go crazy that the town thought he was the main bad guy? Could be. Because remember, Miranda told Victor, or based on what Victor said, that Miranda told Victor to hide somewhere where Christopher can't find you. So Christopher might have went crazy. Or maybe they may retcon that Christopher never said that. But I want to know what Victor's reaction will be when he finds out that Jade was Christopher and Tabitha was Miranda. That's where we get more information from Victor when Victor finds that out. Okay. I think it was really good myself. Right, 3066, there are rules. I don't know. I mean, people have said that the man in yellow is the quote unquote big bad. So I think it's possible to have a big bad adversary that needs to be defeated for like the series, but by the end of the series, there still may be evil stuff. It's just the series may end where maybe they're like stuck in town and like there is no escape, which could kind of give room for another season or another spin-off show or something. Hey, we're going to be here. The journey and story, the mono myth based on ancient astrology, based on 3 visible planets and a universal journey and cultures before ancient Egypt built pyramids. Okay. So here a rumor there's not going to be an episode. So no episode this Sunday, the 24th. That's what the rumor mill is saying. What did you think about Victor's reaction to Henry being drunk? Did Vic actually and Cooey, his father, being drunk? I think Victor seeing Henry spaz out. Victor started to regret telling Henry the information, thinking that Henry was strong enough to handle it since Henry has been Victor's support. And I think Victor is going to distance himself from Henry. Yeah, I mean, so it's kind of like, let's say you're a child. I mean, this is how I took it. Victor's still childlike, right? So what Victor did was he told his father something horrible that happened, and seeing your parent cry as a child would make you lose a sense of security, because now it's like your parent can't protect you. So I imagine Victor was feeling like the same thing, like a child watching their parent get beat up by somebody, or their parent cry, or their parent having a breakdown or crash out, as they say, or seeing their parent having like a bad moment, being on drugs or being drunk. It makes you feel helpless and no longer secure in your parent being there to protect you. And I think that's what Victor was experiencing, was just looking at Henry in that light and just kind of realizing, not only I should have not told Henry about what happened to Miranda, but my dad is not strong like I thought he was. My dad is not is not a superhero. He can't protect me. And I think Victor is going to start feeling like he has to protect Henry. And the way Victor would do that, in my opinion, is to no longer tell Henry information, because Henry's not ready and he's not built for horrific scenes. There are certain people that can be police officers, firefighters, emergency personnel like EMTs, doctors, in the military, basically occupations where you're constantly dealing with or training for either combat or traumatic situations. Not everyone has the personality for that. And Henry he just doesn't have the personality for it. He's not built for it. And I think that's what Victor was thinking and realizing, seeing his father drunk. His father can't handle being in from. I wouldn't be surprised if Henry and Victor no longer are roommates. Or they stay roommates, but Victor is now not telling Henry information because he realizes that this is too much for Henry. So someone like Boyd could handle it. Someone like maybe Sarah could handle it. Donna. Those are like your, I think Sarah can handle it, but Sarah also cares too much. But I think the strong characters are like Boyd, Donna, Jade. I think Boyd, Donna, and Jade are like your strong characters who can handle stuff. And they want to keep moving forward, even though they're freaking out while it's happening. Like, remember when Boyd was in was seeing Tien Shan Lu when he's getting overpowered, Boyd never just like showed fear, even though he was crying at what was happening to Tien Shan, or he was like sad. But Boyd kept moving forward. Boyd did have his breakdown, episode 1 of season 4, but he bounced right back, which is called resiliency. So I think Donna, Jade, and Boyd are your resiliency characters. Henry's just not built for it. Yep. Did Mita dress as Martin? Yes, she did. Mita is in competition to be used like Fatima is Martin, or to replace Fatima's Martin. I don't think she's going to replace it, but yeah, Mita is Martin is what we're going with when someone gives a comment that's like, okay, that's a little bit out there, right? Perhaps Mita is in the dungeon. She's chained up in the dungeon. Right, they can add dark comedy to the conversation. Aliens are at the Lake of Tears, I'm sure. Well, hold on. Wait a minute now. Did we see some aliens out there? I thought maybe it was fairies. Definitely some dolls, but some aliens were at the Lake of Tears? 3066, I don't know. I think you out there. I think just even having aliens and from in the same conversation, at this point, you're out there. I think you're out there. I think you're out there. Yeah, Roger. Roger's the one that got the face ripped off. I keep forgetting Roger's name. I gotta write it down somewhere. Matter of fact, let me put it as a banner. Roger got face planted. He got face palmed in a way. So there, I keep saying the guy that was there. I keep forgetting his name because he's not really remarkable until getting his face ripped off. But yeah, the doll did kill him in the cabin. Yeah, Lake of Tears for Fears or Lake of Fears. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the dog did kill him in the cabin. Yeah. Oh, Roger Rabbit. Oh wow. Was a good fake out on Donna. I'm glad she survived. Hopefully she continues to survive. Yeah, me too. Because they've been kind of like foreshadowing. They kind of like we're using language from her talking and from Ethan talking about her that Donna was going to take a dirt nap and no, she survived. He was the only one like, nah, leave whatever it is in the lake. Now he's dead. Yeah, you the one pulling on the rope. You were pulling on the mysterious rope, which normally a rope like that would be for a boat. So for the dolls to be in the lake with a rope like that, it's as if the dolls were trying to, if someone bound the dolls and the dolls were trying to run away, and it's like, as if the dolls were trying to go into the lake, but someone was like tying them up to prevent that. And somehow they got in the lake. But normally a rope like that is used to keep a boat docked and keep a boat from leaving. So it's kind of odd for them to be in the lake like that, tied to a rope. Okay. Okay. But are they really reincarnations? Marielle just planted the seed of Marielle being a prophet. It's just a bunch of lies. Well, I mean, the Marielle line, but I think Jade and Tabitha saying that they were reincarnations. Then in the episode of season 4, episode 5, we did see those different versions of Jade with the violin. So I think reincarnation, I think Jade and Tabitha are reincarnations. At this point, if someone's like, I don't really think Jade and Tabitha are reincarnations, I think someone's entitled to their opinion, but I think their opinion might be Mita as Martin if we're kind of denying that Jade and Tabitha are reincarnations at this point. I think at this point you're out there to where it's a little crazy. It's a little crazy for Tabitha to tell Jim, I was Miranda and Jade was Christopher. For Tabitha to say that, and then we see the scene of Miranda getting killed by Smiley after Tabitha hugged Victor, and then we saw the Jade quartet. At this point, if someone's saying, "Are they really reincarnations?" ? It's Mita as Martin. You're out there. You're out there. Ain't nothing wrong with being out there. I think someone's got to be out there. I think you're out there. I think you're out there. Let's see, where are we? Yeah, she did. And she's going to be in the town. People are going to be like, what happened to you? This big doll that Tabitha knows about put my face into a fire. What? Tabitha's doll did this? So Tabitha did this? Tabitha's a monster? Did she kill her husband? Wasn't her and her husband having problems? She killed her husband? Wasn't she hanging around with Jade a lot? Are her and Jade dating? Both her and Jade have been here before? Are they dating? Have they slept together? They used to be married. They had a daughter while here. Did Jade and Tabitha bring us here? We gotta kill Jade and Tabitha. There it goes. There it goes. That's as quick as it happens with taking Jade and Tabitha out. Ooh. She kills her husband. He was a good man. Give us half the episode this week and half the other week. Yeah. I mean, it should be like Netflix where they give it all at one time so we could binge watch. I think it's very difficult to just not watch the season and try to binge watch it after episode 10 airs because you're gonna get spoilers, whether you want them or not. Yeah, people are desperate. People are so desperate that they're gonna turn to content creators who have the entire season and they're gonna say, please, sir, may I have some porridge? I am out here and I am an orphan and I am very hungry and cold. Please, sir. And then they're going to be signing up for people Discords and give themselves a seat to watch the rest of the season because they can't wait. They can't wait. People are desperate. And people are actually paying to be in Discords where the episodes are shown early. Yeah. Henry was sloppy drunk and he was running his mouth. Yeah, he was crashing out. I think he's going to step up, be the strong. Well, I think after Victor experienced that with Henry, Victor's going to go and regress out of being embarrassed because of what his dad did and uh, not wanting to see his dad break down like that anymore. I mean, imagine if Victor wanted to tell his dad, "Oh yeah, I had to eat people to survive here." That would kill Henry. So if that is a thing, that we're not gonna get that thing anymore. Telling all the business. So I was thinking Victor had memories of Henry being drunk when he was a child. Could be. That could be. Yeah, he does. Even when he stands there and has no lines, just him being there makes the scene. What? Okay, that's interesting. I'm glad Kenny knows that Victor saw the man in yellow jacket and that man in yellow ate his mother. So hopefully that will make them be like, "Where's the man in yellow now?" Right. He is stronger than his father, especially in From. Well, Victor has had his breakdowns. I think he's had a breakdown every episode that he's been in because he had a mini breakdown in Colony House. He had a breakdown with seeing knowledge comes at a cost in the barn, and he had a breakdown in the forest after he peed on himself. So Victor has been having, I think he's had more breakdowns than previous seasons. Yeah, I don't think anyone could say Henry is monotone or doesn't show any emotions. Yeah, he definitely does. He is falling apart. Yeah, I think so. I agree. I agree. I hope that is what we saw in the preview with him standing on the bus, him getting busy. Henry's hangover is going to be the worst punishment ever doled out in the town. Yeah, well, yeah. I guess Incognito 1777 wants to be tagged by people who are tagging others. I have not. I'm pretty sure it's already out there. Maybe I have. Not really sure. Maybe I have and I don't remember. I think it's for the episode 6 preview that Kenny was seeing with Boyd and Jade about to fight some monsters, right? That'll be interesting to see. Yeah, and one of the trailers we saw, Kenny was out there looking like a boss, and Boyd was walking with the bell, and it was nighttime. So I think Boyd wanted to bring out the monsters, and then we saw Smiley transform. Uh oh. Uh oh. Who killed Jim over an affair and baby Thomas? Yeah, that would be crazy. Not he was a good man, Savannah. What? What? What's going on, Mita? You just missed U.R. Martin comments. Yeah, it was. This show is kind of crazy, though. I feel they just follow and pass, but it doesn't mean they are reincarnated. They get visions from affirming stuff, but the place playing tricks, not just Sophia. I don't know. I think at this point, you might be by yourself as far as not believing that Jade and Tabitha are reincarnations. I'm not going to do the Mita as Martin again, but I don't know. I think you're kind of like with how Tabitha was when Tabitha was talking to Jade, saying that the stuff they showed us, maybe it was a trick or something. I don't know. Because, Tabitha told Jim, I was Miranda, Jade was Christopher. So she accepted that. Everything else, she was saying maybe it was a trick. So I think she accepts that as far as being a reincarnation, but anything else that they saw was like a trick. So I think the reincarnation is in the bag. They can return from the settlement and say they have barbecue and shish kebab. They could, but old girl's face says that she is one of the villains in Batman's Rogues Gallery, Two-Face. So she's gonna go in looking like Two-Face into the clinic to get medical assistance, and they're gonna be like, "You're Two-Face now." Henry will come to Victor watching him. That'll be a conversation. Yeah, it will. She made it. She made it. Also, Harold said they're going to start filming in about 1 month. Was good news. Filming? What are they filming for? Hold on, let me check IMDb or Wikipedia rather. Because like if it's going to be a movie, okay, so sometimes Wikipedia can be reliable. Let's see. There we go. All right. So this is Boyd's Wikipedia, Harold Perenero, and under film that you see right there, he's filming and out comes the wolf. This may be what Incognito was talking about. So clicking on it, and out comes the wolf. I don't really see anything involving anybody from, but yeah, Boyd has a movie coming out, and it's called Out, and Out Comes the Wolf. No word on what it's about, but this is good. It's going to be available. So it was scheduled for release fall 2025, which was last year. So I guess they're still working on it, but it's so this is a movie Boyd's going to be in, and Out Comes the Wolf is an upcoming American musical drama film inspired by the Rancid 1995 film and Out Comes the Wolves. The film marks the directorial debut of producer Danny Peikoff. It stars Orlando Norman, blah, blah, blah. Boyd's in it. So it's about a American punk rock band formed in Berkeley, California in 1991. So it's about the mainstream interest in punk rock, and Out Comes the Wolf. So Boyd's got that going on. As far as the television show, as far as Boyd, I mean, he's in From, which is presently going on as the main role, and he was the best man, the final chapters. That's about it. So I don't know. That's all that's listed as far as Wikipedia, as far as what Boyd's got going on. So I don't know. Is there anything else that you all may be thinking about as far as Boyd and what he's got going on? So they're filming in about a month. I imagine that is what's going on. I mean, I could go to IMDb, but I don't know. I think Henry might have been I didn't want to go there. I did not want to go there. Michelle has gone there. I did not want to go there. So, you know, we've had conversation about Victor eating people to survive, and then Kui kids having the panda eyes. Michelle has officially taken things to where Henry might have been a little Ike Turner towards Miranda. He was too into that little song performance. So if we start talking about Henry possibly being abusive, we can blame Michelle. So Miss Wynn, hello. So I had a thought. All are going through a transition, divorce, life affected because of divorce. Jade and Toby may be the architect of a process to help those going through a transformation, such as, I think she ran out of characters. Let's see, such as Kenny and his family, etc. Could be. Them got to send themselves. Them characters be killing y'all. You want to get a whole thought out there, you can't even do it. You said they would be like Tabby killed Jim, her husband, and he was a good man. What? I said Tabitha killed Jim? Hold up. Nah, Michelle, I think you're trying to deflect from introducing the idea that Henry might be he might be wearing a wife beater. And in the past, he was wearing one of those wife beaters, aka muscle shirts. Michelle, this is on you now. You introduced it to the fandom, and if we go down rabbit holes with that, you are the source. You will be the reference that gets cited. You're going to be it. If someone's like, "Why are we talking about Henry beating somebody?" Where do we get to this? Michelle Williams, 6816. This is what she has introduced. I didn't introduce this. She introduced this. And now, if we discuss it, if people are like, "Spade, I hate you. I'm mad at you." No, be mad at Michelle. Michelle said the thing that we were all thinking, and she said it out loud. So blame Michelle. Matter of fact, if I had a banner, I don't really have many banners over here or sound effects, but yeah. Matter of fact, okay. Before we entertain anymore, Michelle, we got to make sure we safe. Yeah, because Michelle's taking it there. We got to be safe at this point. Put your talisman stones up. Make sure you in for the night. You protected. Because if we keep going down this path, it's going to be scary outside. Okay. I think we already did that one. Yeah. They should give us 2 episodes on May 31st. They said all answers are in the episode. I'm going for this is a program designed to help people who are going through a transition in life. Yeah. Oh, filming season 5. Okay. I got you. That's pretty quick. Okay, I got you. Filming season 5 of From. Okay. I got you. Now I understand. Yeah, I get it now, Joyce. I get it now. Season 5. I want a 6th season and a prequel. Well, hold up. Because a prequel may have Victor surviving by eating people. Do we really want that? Straight crackhead behavior. Talking about Jim in the forest, looking around, looking crazy. June filming would make sense, yeah, because it's summertime. It won't be winter like it was for season 3. Yeah. Wow. If my lady sang like Henry, I disappear into the paranormal too. Wow. So Mike says he's gonna leave to go get milk and he ain't coming back if your singing is whack. Mike is not coming back if your singing is whack. And yeah, that rhymed. Wow, oh wow. At Colony House being the crack house. What? What? How did you know what? Michelle, what your comment is now Meta is Martin. What is going on with Michelle tonight, y'all? Michelle, you know what? Go to bed. Go to bed. Cause I don't know what's going on, man. It's getting wild out here. Just go to bed. Just go to bed. So MGM Plus has a Fromily chat. And the question being asked is, it's polls basically. But yeah, Michelle, I don't know what's going on, man. Go to bed. You tripping. You are tripping. He gave Jim a pep talk, and maybe this part of the reason why Victor's untrusting into himself. Okay. You got a can of peaches for Victor. Well, Victor's grown now. He's in his 50s. What about when he was 10? You weren't around, Mita. He had to live, right? So you got a can of peaches for him now. He had to live when he was 10. The man in yellow is around there during the day. The monster's at night. No talisman stone. Victor's hungry. He got to live. The man in yellow is going to be like, well, I hear your stomach growling. Aren't you hungry? And Victor's going to say, yeah, I'm hungry. Well, there's plenty to eat. Just find one to munch on in. There you go. Well, Man in Yellow musical is going to include him munching on people in between singing numbers. So are we sure we want that? You laughing? I don't know. Go to bed. Yeah. You have to read the comment. I'm reading the comments. Yeah, you all are wilding in these comments. I'm at the very bottom right now. Yeah, I am reading the comments. That's why I'm saying, hey, maybe time to go to bed. Maybe time to go to bed when you start talking crazy. Like, oh, you sleepy. He said, I'm slow. I'm at the very bottom. I'm at the very bottom of the comment. There's no more comments left. Now, when people are talking to each other, I skipped over that because that's y'all sidebar conversation. Manna fell from the sky for Vic. I don't want to believe he's a cannibal. Well, he may not be a cannibal anymore. Maybe he's changed his ways. But this manna falling from the sky, I'm going to be like Marielle and Christy. If something wanted to protect and save us, they'd be protecting and saving us. So if some type of mysticism is going to feed Victor, why not help Victor go home then? You skipped a few. I didn't skip any of the ones that where people were talking to each other. I skipped over those on purpose. Like if people are talking to each other, if I see so for example, like with Mike, if he says at Rick Costa, he seemed to be on the wagon, but probably not. I skipped over that one to try to catch up. I'm only going to read the ones where it's like no one's adding anyone, because I know that they got to be talking either out loud or to me. Can we talk about how Tabitha suddenly remembered how to kill the dolls and she was not high like Jade? Yeah, I guess she was high on life. But she would remember more if she took a trip. Yeah, the vibes are always great here. Keeps me coming back. Yeah, I appreciate that. True, but she was under extreme duress. I bet her brain synapses were firing like crazy. Yeah. That is true. See, I'm only clicking on this one being nosy. Yeah, Tabitha did know the talisman stones would not work. She's got more information than she's revealing. People are going to be like, well, okay, you don't know about stuff. Or no, Tabitha, you knew about stuff. What are you not telling us? And Tabitha might be like, well, I know a little bit of things here and there. And then they're going to say, well, wait a minute, in the diner, weren't you saying that you went home and you came back? Can you just go home whenever you want to? What are you hiding? Yeah, Tabitha's going to get worse than Jade. Especially when she said, I'm sure past versions of her. What if Miranda had the same thing happen to her where she went back to the real world and then came back? Yeah, people are going to be hunting for her thinking that the reason why you left is because you're with them. Yeah, Tabitha's higher than Cooey. You with them, that's how you were able to be let go. And they bring you back. You come back with makeup, your hair done, you taking a shower with soap, you're hydrated, you changed your clothes, you got your nails done. So you had time to get your nails done, get a full face full of makeup, a shower with soap, a good night's sleep in a good bed. You watched some TV, you were on the internet. Yeah, you suspicious. Matter of fact, we can't trust you. So yeah, Tabitha, look, new wig, exactly. Well, Tabitha's fighting the truth now, but while she was in Maine, she was fighting looking rough. Tabitha came back glammed up, right? Am I the only one who noticed that Tabitha was kind of glammed up at the end of season 3? She was glammed up because she had nails done, toes done, fresh makeup, new wig, shower with soap and probably body wash, shampoo and conditioner. She was hydrated with good water, probably had a steak dinner off screen, went shopping, came back with a nice purse. Tabitha, you got some explaining to do. The rest of us trapped here, you coming back and you had a whole Ricky Lake makeover. How do you get a Ricky Lake makeover and you supposed to be getting us help? Right. Ellis was the breakout. Wow, he pushed those rock stuff scarecrows. Yeah, he did. He did. Her linen shirts stayed crispy and white. Yeah, they did. Did Tabitha go to the dry cleaner while she was out? Tabitha even had time to go do a fake confession. We're all in here suffering. You going to get a fake confession done. Tabitha probably had steak and lobster and watched the internet. She got some air conditioning in her system. I mean, Ricky Lake makeovers were in the 90s, but Tabitha got a makeover that was like a Ricky Lake makeover. So you all are missing the important stuff. Stop focusing on the Ricky Lake makeover and the fact that Tabitha came back glammed up. Tabitha, did you go on a date? Did Tabitha go on a date while she was out? Everyone is suffering. Tabitha's out there going on dates, looking like she's going on dates. You know, Tabitha came back when season 3, when she came back in the ambulance, Tabitha was TV ready. Did y'all see that? Tabitha was TV ready. That's how she was looking. Because Tabitha did say she wanted a divorce from Jim and she came back TV ready. Did you go on a date? Yeah, Tabitha's 4th husband. There you go. Talking about she don't want any more love interests. She got enough husbands. Do you got enough husbands because you came back glammed up? A dab of Botox. You know? A dab of Botox. There you go. Just a little dab. There you go. See? B. Brock VA saw it. Yeah. Yeah. So you think the dolls were what triggered resurfacing memories? I think, yeah, the dolls, even the totems. But now when Tabitha remembered being Miranda and Miranda got mauled by Smiley, I think it was possibly hugging Victor. But I think all that is just because she's like remembering clips and pieces of things it's not all coming at once like it did with Jade. So I think Jade's going to tell Tabitha, you could probably remember more if you go on a mushroom trip. She did lose weight. She had time to go to the gym and exercise, count calories, and lose a few pounds. Yeah, Tabitha was out there. Tabitha was out there. That may be the reason why she was not able to ugly cry season 4 and had to actually give real tears. No ugly cry Tabitha. It was ugly cry Sophia, but not Tabitha because of maybe the Botox. So there you go. Jade said what happens to Tabitha is worse, but that couple needs to be protected at all costs since they have so many answers. Yeah. It was Jade's younger self said that what happened to Tabitha was worse. I think the younger version of Jade was probably the boy in white. But it could have been just younger Jade as like a vision or something. But I think it was the boy in white. Because that version of Jade who was younger may have had dreams of the township, but that boy, Jade's younger self, seemed to have actual answers or actual information that was a value add. And maybe that was Jade's subconscious. But I think the reason why it was an earlier version of Jade when he was a boy to kind of like be like a version of the boy in white. Like the boy in white comes to people as a boy or a kid because a kid seems to be like a friendly thing to adults. Whereas if you come to an adult as an adult, it could be suspicious. That's what my guess is. When they started talking to each other in French, that threw me for a second. Yeah, it did. If sounds get trapped in Fromville, I want to know why Jade and Tabitha's escape to be reincarnated. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, okay, but if the previous versions of themselves have escaped, they probably were brought right back. So the thing that Jade needs to figure out is not how to leave the township, because you can be brought back like Tabitha was, but how do we escape and never come back? Because Sophia and Yellow will spread the worst. It's because of them, while Jade and Tabitha are the key. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. I'm gonna take a 2-minute break. Yeah, the spiders. I think the spiders were fan service for the fans. Marielle was saying, even after we die, we're stuck here. Yeah, I think we've seen characters from the show in the background, like Tien Shan Lu walking around, Miranda standing there, the bartender. And now, okay, I think it is possible that instead of using the actual actors, they could have used lookalikes and dress that's similar to the actual characters that we've seen on the show. But I think the idea was to get a lookalike actor that's dressed similar to the character while on the show to kind of give us those Easter eggs that when you die, you don't leave. I think the spiders were a nod to the Lake of Tears. Could be. Spiders will continue to become more relevant. We know they're coming. Yeah. I want to see a big mama spider. They did have a big spider the size of the light when Jade was going down that hallway. I think people want a building-sized giant spider. I think people want a building sized or at least a car sized spider. When did everyone guess that Boyd wasn't really Boyd? When did everybody guess that? When did? Jade and Tabitha get reincarnated by the magic tree. Everybody else seems not to. Exactly. I think it's only two people reincarnated on the show. Everyone else is just a victim. A car-sized spider is enough. Yeah. I think people want their spider fix for whatever reason. So I'm gonna take a quick 2-minute break, talk amongst yourselves, be right back. Yeah, that's what she said in the comment section. One of the last live streams, she was at Comic Con. I think somebody else was saying they currently are dealing with stuff. So, but I mean, I sent an email, a group email. Matter of fact, let me pull this banner up. It's actually one of the planned topics. We'll talk about the group email. So, I did a group email for people who wanted to share their email address with each other. So you all have that if you want to check up on each other and talk to each other outside of a comment section or live stream chat. And then if anybody wants to, I've changed my mind. If other people want to drop their email address for any and everybody or put their phone number in the chat for any and everybody, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. I think everybody kind of knows the risk with that. And my new stance is go forth, do great things if you want to do that. It's like viewer discretion is advised. Boy, better pick a struggle because some people might be like, well, if I can leave and somebody else can't, then so be it. Then so be it. All right, well, So I just wanted to kind of do a quick chat with you all. I'm going to be traveling tomorrow. There's not going to be any time to really do another chit chat before I return back to Nevada. So might not hear. We might not do anything until Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. No promises. So I'm gonna try to do something official when I get back to Nevada this week coming up. So next time we do a chit chat, who knows? But I'll try to pick a day to do a show like we've been doing and a research stream and all that. And I'll let you all know. So how do we get on the list? So the list is already put out as far as the email, my email address to make the list. So all it was just me doing a email to a bunch of different people who said they wanted their email to be public to other people. And I already did that earlier. So at this point, if anybody wants to be a part of the list that I do, when I email people, when I'm going to go live, do a show and all that, you can send an email to screenlearningcontent@gmail.com. If you want to be a part of my blind BCC, which is blind carbon copy list. If you want to be added to my blind carbon copy list when I send out when I'm going to go live and different things like that, you can send me an email for that, screenlearningcontent@gmail.com. Now, the email distribution list that I mentioned, I've already did that email. So if anybody wants anyone to email them or call them, you can just put it in the comment section for that to happen. Or comment section or live chat. I'm not going to delete it or anything. You can do that for people to have conversations outside of comment sections and live chats and all that, if that's what you want to do. So there's that. And so I think I'm gonna end the stream and the chit chat. I just wanted to kind of be on here an hour or two. I gotta start getting ready and pack, and I gotta do a couple of things before traveling again. This was fun, just chatting with you all. And I'm going to pin my email address to the top of the chat in case anybody wants to do that. And then okay, so Rick, I got your email. So the only thing I would be adding you to is the group email that I do. But as far as what was, the email that had people emailing each other and making themselves public. As far as that, you could put your email address in the chat or a cell phone number if you want to share that. But as far as the email that I do, I'll add you to that email distribution list. Let's see. So I lost that post. Oh, there it is. So yeah. So thank you. Yeah, safe travels. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time tonight and safe travels. I appreciate it. So yeah. So Rick, I'll add you to my list, but it's not going to be the public list with everyone who that's going to be emailing each other. That's going to be a separate thing from what I do. I just kind of did the one-time facilitation as far as that. So if anybody wants to connect with anybody in the chat or in the comment section, just put your email there, and whoever wants to email you can email you, or if you want to get someone else's stuff, that can be a thing. So yeah. So thank you all for joining me for this chit chat. I appreciate it. So just to kind of, the title was Marielle's Possible Ability. I think Marielle is going to be able to, I mean, based off this episode, hear the voices of people who are deceased. Or it may have something to do with those chains. So like the chains that come out the wall that are associated with her being in the dungeon, maybe she'll be able to control the chains. Like maybe Randall may be able to control the cicadas. Who knows? And I think as far as Sophia being with Julie at the ruins, I think that might be a possibility just because we overheard Julie and Randall arguing in the clinic in front of Sophia. And I think Sophia's going to want to get some action with that. So, yeah. All right. So thanks for watching. Go forth, do great things. And I am out. Peace.